And the opening thing on this edition of Raw is WWE's global ambassador, Titus O'Neil. He's already in the ring. He's introduced. He's introduced as somebody, he's keyed as somebody who is hosting the SPs this week, but that is not the reason why he is appearing on the show. He says that he thought he reached the height of his personal achievements when he won the Warrior Award this year at the Hall of Fame, or was given the Warrior Award at this year's at a previous year's Hall of Fame, I should say. I'm sorry. But he hit an even higher peak when he became our WWE global ambassador. He's here to tell us that what we need more now in the world than ever is goodwill. Whether it's helping the less fortunate or supporting our servicemen and women around the world, they also support good causes that bring people together to do good. And that is why you will never hear the WWE talk about politics or religion or subject matter that is divisive, because regardless of your race or economic status or nationality, this place is a safe haven. This is a place WWE wants to make sure where we can all have a good time. So that's what we're about to do tonight, and welcome to Monday Night Raw. What the fuck was this?
I was so confused. I'm like, is he going to be like the general manager? Like, why start the show? Like later on as the show went on, okay, it made sense because it was in Tampa. Like, he's doing all this good stuff in Tampa. So it made a little bit more sense. But to start the show like this, and he's just going on about all these like things that WWE does well and does not talk about, I'm just like, what is the purpose of this? This is so weird.
They spent the whole year in Tampa, okay? And I don't know how many Titus O'Neil appearances we've seen throughout the entire Thunderdome era. Like, or the first thing, of course, that's coming to everybody's mind is that, are they bearing for more bad news in the press? And are they somehow trying to get ahead of it? And I don't know, like, how would this get ahead of anything? Like, what is this decision going to do with whatever bad press that they might get?
The topics that he brought up, it made me really scared of what is there more to talk about when it comes to Vince. Like, what else has he done that we don't know yet? It's very scary to thought. But yeah, this just screams just like, we're good. We're doing all this good stuff. And it's just like, oh my goodness, this was just very, very cringe.
But it's just the idea that, like, let's just, speculate that maybe there's some bad press to come, and that Vince's first reaction is to send Titus O'Neil out to have this like rah message about goodwill. And what is the statement here? We will not talk about politics or religion or subject matter that is divisive, because regardless of your race or economic status or nationality, this place is a safe haven.
And this is happening as like Lacey Evans is like a heel veteran on SmackDown. Like, I don't know, this is so very odd timing, just everything.
Yeah, like, I'm just trying to think of what the messaging is that is supposed to get ahead of whatever story that's out there. Like, are they saying you will never hear us address these Vince McMahon allegations because it's divisive content? And somehow it's a threat to people, to me, because of my race or economic status or nationality.
Yeah, and the fact that they kept saying this is like a safe haven. So like, I feel like whatever mumbled up message they had was like, no matter what's going on in the world today, you could just turn on Monday Night Raw and you're okay here. We're fine here. We're not gonna make it worse.
I feel so safe watching Raw. Yeah, without rather than reading the Wall Street Journal, where I might figure out the truth of some of these stories.
I can name so many better things I can do in 3 hours that'll distract me from the woes of the world, I feel like, than watching people chasing over a 24/7 title.
Yeah. So last time, listen, like, when met with these sort of like public stories, it is incredibly interesting to study the reaction of Vince McMahon. Last time his reaction was to go on TV and for a couple of weeks, to do these sort of like, to show his face. He has not shown his face since the second article. Now, the second article has not received as much mainstream press, but nonetheless, it seems to have made him shy away, because he would have come out and delivered this message, rather than Titus. He might have not needed to deliver a message at all if that story continued to die down. Word is that there are going to be more things that are going to come out from the Wall Street Journal. And is this Vince McMahon getting ahead with it? And what an odd decision. like
I'm not
to use this to respond to.
I'm not gonna lie, towards the end of the intro, I really thought that Titus was gonna introduce Vince. Like the way he was wording it, he was like, with that being said, like he ended up saying, this is Monday Night Raw or whatever. But I thought he was really gonna introduce Vince as like the savior of the safe haven. Like it was this very awkward cold open to the show.
Super strange. And you know what? Like in these situations, I mean, they can make themselves look good to people who don't know what they're talking about, like because the audience will inevitably cheer, right? Like wrestling audiences, as much as like we might kind of say like wrestling audiences these days will revolt, they're actually relatively easy, I think, to manipulate to get the reaction that you want. And this was just a guy with a positive message that is well liked. No racism, no economic sort of discrimination, no nationality discrimination. Yay! Like,
Yeah, and these are all things you can go on the WWE Network now and find instances of all these things that they don't say they talk about.
oh yeah,
Sure
sure.
thing,
Yeah,
sure.
there's no racism on this show whatsoever. Yeah, anyway, so this was super weird, and we will perhaps figure out the reasons later on why this happened. Um, it's just like it was not subtle at all either, Cino. It's like clearly like this is like the time where like mom and dad are sitting you down and having a serious conversation, and you know that something is wrong, but like you don't exactly know what they're talking about because they're dancing around the subject. So
This just felt like Homelander just like smiling for the camera. Then as soon as the cameras are off, it's like, all right, let's get
yeah,
this shit over with. That's what it felt like to me.
very much so.